What's up?
Yo, what's up, my dude? How's it
Not
going?
not much. Just eating some taquitos and memeing it out. What's up with you?
Hell yeah, I saw you were watching a Destiny stream. Or video. What's, what was the video?
The like when today right now or because
Yeah.
I'm watching one right now. The one I'm watching right now is feminism harmful? I'm just wondering what the hell is going on. Um,
Oh boy. Is feminism harmful?
well, no, and I'm pretty sure that's like Destiny's point is that like it's just a thing and it depends on who like follows it. So there might be some feminists that are like too far gone or whatever. For the most part, the movement is about like freedom and stuff like that. So it seems like this guy that's talking to him is like, fucking feminism. Every person who takes
Is
part in
he like an
feminism.
AMG toe fucking incel boy?
I don't know. I don't know about the guy talking to him, but I know like Destiny isn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the guy. I'm just trying to listen to like what the guy's saying, and he's right now like, fuck if whenever you get like he was talking about like how like feminism is akin to cancer, and I was like, wait, what?
Wait.
Like the words are. Hold on. He's like, do you know about
Okay.
So
it's right here.
Okay.
that does sound pretty good. But when you look at someone's actions,
Mhm.
and if their actions don't
I
line
don't know if it's
up
older.
with their words, that's where the issue comes in.
Okay.
You got to go off someone's actions, not their words.
Okay.
So
I can't really find it.
the most
But he
common
basically, like-
example is when a chick says she wants to.
Basically, just this dude was just like, oh well, you know how like cancer like spreads and grows and stuff like that, and it's like harmful, whatever. It's like, well, that's like the same thing as feminism. It's like, basically just like, yeah, when you
Nice
want to,
analogy.
and then it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to give people freedom, it turns out that more people want freedom. So sure, it is like cancer.
I
in
mean,
that
well,
way.
freedom is also like cancer then.
Yeah, it's like okay,
Right.
Wait,
It's
what's
spread.
metastasizing?
yeah, okay, so metastasizing.
I don't know.
So he's saying-
I guess the argument for that might be like, I don't know, anything that's like a widespread thing would be like cancerous, but then you would have to bite the bullet on like
on like
if
positive
he's
things being
religious,
cancerous.
if you're religious at all, then like you have to bite the bullet on that being cancerous as well.
Yeah, and it also seems
Um,
like if that's like true, then positive things are also cancerous. Like,
yeah,
well, okay,
I mean, I that
yeah,
just seems like such a bad fucking three-head take,
yeah. No, it's the worst thing.
honestly.
That's why I like pull the video because I had so yesterday I had like I got rated and stuff like that, so I had like a bunch of viewers, and there was somebody before that who was talking about. Was it the same guy? Oh, I wonder. I didn't close my OBS, so I wonder if the chat log is there. This guy talked about so much dumb.
Chat logs from OBS are fucking great.
Well, I have Stream Elements OBS, so I have the chat right there. And since I didn't close my OBS, the chat is it's still there. That's why you can see it on my overlay right now. So like the
Hmm.
chat from yesterday. So there's at one point when someone said like nothing positive has come from in my chat. Someone said like nothing positive has come from feminism. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Wait, yeah, what are you talking about? There's like a whole fucking women got like the right to vote. Women
Yeah,
got like a whole bunch of shit off this. Like the gender pay gap is fucking shortening because of feminism. What do you mean?
yeah. It's like, and it's like, yeah, maybe the too far gone thing is that at first people seem to talk about how it's like a wage gap, but now everybody on the vast majority of people agree that it's just an earnings gap or like a pay gap, and we're looking to close that because there's other influences. So like people like AOC and Bernie Sanders call it the earnings gap, which is hilarious to me because that's what everyone was screaming about. All the anti-SJWs are like, guys, it's just an earning gap, and now they agree with them, and they're like, fuck, shit, how do I deal with this?
God. Yeah, I know. I fucking love it when like memes come back to bite the other side. It's so great.
Oh yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
I derive a lot of joy from that. Um,
It's very interesting to like hear people make their arguments and then someone will switch to their argument and then they'll switch their argument because they don't like that
I
person.
was like, oh fuck
It's
that.
really
Yeah, yeah.
fucking funny
They
to
just
me.
pivot instantly. It's like, oh shit.
I don't know, like it seems pretty nonsensical. I got my abortion stance from basically from Ben Shapiro. I think it's like one of his only good arguments. It's
Yeah,
probably his only good argument, but
perhaps. Yeah. So, I don't even know. I guess basically Ben Shapiro. What's Ben Shapiro's stance on it? Because I'm surprised it doesn't go back on religious values. Because I know
oh,
the rest of his crew goes back on religious values.
his stance on it is the biological stance that like human life begins at implantation As far as I can tell, he's referring to like human genetics being valuable. So
Oh, okay.
like that's kind of where I take it, right? So like you should like give a certain amount of value to a human life, even if it is like just a clump of cells, because if you take that same clump of cells and then you test it on a 20-year-old person that is that clump of cells, it'll still be the same human, right? So
Yeah.
it just seems like there's a lot of value you're taking, or you're not necessarily taking away, but you're also not using when you abort a child, right? You don't know the exact value. You don't know, like, it could be that they turn out to be a psychopath and like they're the worst serial killer in 100 years, but it also could turn out that like they're the next Nobel Peace Prize winner for
Yeah.
like astrophysics and they literally get us like to Mars or something,
Yeah,
right?
so that's where like my position comes in. That so my position is basically that in a perfect world, I would not be advocating for any kind of abortion because we would have like a substantial system of like our the system for adoption and orphanages and artificial wombs is like immense. Like there's no question about it. Like there's no reason for you to get an abortion because you could just put it in an artificial womb and then it will go into an adoption center and eventually like grow up to be a quote unquote normal person. But right now,
Sure.
since that system like doesn't exist, so like I have to look at the outcomes of certain people's like children, right? So yes, maybe that child becomes a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but if he's born into a extremely poor family or has a bunch, or like the parents are very not unresponsive, fuck me, not reliable, I guess,
Neglectful.
yeah, neglectful and like just shitty parents, then I wouldn't like even if just as a poor family, because I think that the majority of a lot of abortions would happen, or like quote unquote random abortions just happen because people can't afford it, and a lot of conservatives are like, it's your fault you can't afford it. Um,
Yeah, that's some real dumb shit. So, kind of along the same lines, do you think that like abortion should be covered under healthcare then? Like if we do a universal healthcare?
Currently, yeah, how it's going right now, but eventually, so let's say that universal healthcare also brings up a system of like a very good adoption system, and also we have artificial wombs, or like we can somehow transfer a fetus to another person if they want it, then I would say that no, abortion at that point shouldn't be covered because you don't need an abortion. You could just have the fetus transferred to somebody else or put into an artificial womb, or you just
Sure.
go through the birthing process. Unless, of course, there's obviously abortions would still need to be allowed if there's like fucking medical problems, like the child dies and you have a
Or in the case of rape, maybe.
yeah, or in the case of rape, like obviously the basic stuff. I don't think anyone denies that. If you actually deny that, that's fucking
Yeah,
then
dude.
you're just lost. But yeah, like some of those
Well,
small
I
things.
think I
That's
think
why.
even Ben Shapiro's against that because he believes that abortion is like completely wrong, so it's not wrong, it's not right for any circumstance, which is kind of a three-head, but
Yeah, and it's also awkward too because he'll say he's not. He's like, oh, of course we'll make exceptions for abortion because that's like the law right now. But states are looking to stop that. I think it's like not Ohio, but I think Alabama or something almost is like really close to just outlawing it completely. And then he's like, he hasn't like made a stance on it, so it's kind of like he's somewhat supporting it because obviously he's a Republican, so he would vote for the people in Alabama. So by
yeah,
like proxy,
okay.
he's agreeing with it. So it's like, come on. Like right now, for the longest time. So this was interesting from Steven Crowder. I was, I always would assume this isn't about abortion. This is about something else, like a stance that people take, and like the problems with if you don't talk about. Because a lot of these conservatives basically just think that if you don't talk about it, then you don't support it. But that's totally untrue. Because if you're voting for conservatives, we can easily assume that you would have voted for these conservatives that are passing these quote unquote like barbaric laws, if you want to call them. But
Yeah, good
so
BBC memes.
yeah, basically. But so for the longest time, I would have assumed because Steven Crowder was in support of the removal of net neutrality. I'm pretty sure he was. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure he was for that. I assumed that he would also be against any kind of regulation on private companies. But he just recently made a video, basically advocating for the I don't know if I want to call it utilitization or just making YouTube and Facebook stuff at utilities in the United States. And I was like,
What do
oh,
wait, what are the ramifications of that though?
of making them a utility. I'm not sure like
Yeah.
to the extent of it, but I know that so if something's a utility, then everyone has the opportunity to use it equally, and then it would just come up to like state laws to judge otherwise. Like everything had to fall under state laws. So yeah, like maybe there's ramifications of people being wrongfully influenced, and that could go further. But for me, I'm just like too much of a like, quote unquote like free speech advocate to every time I talk about an argument for like being able to ban people, I always kind of just end up falling back on, well, if there was just someone there to just annihilate him, then we wouldn't have to have this discussion, right? Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't need to ban you if I wouldn't need to ban Ben Shapiro or like Alex Jones if someone just educated them properly.
Yeah, right. Well, I think I don't know. Well, this is my plan because I've already asked Ben Shapiro a question.
Yeah.
Um, like I don't know if you saw it,
I
but
I did. I remember seeing it. I thought I made a video on it, but I didn't. But I remember seeing it. I just don't remember the exact quotes. I just
yeah,
remember when we were in
video's
that.
taken down now because the account got copyright claimed, but it was up
Oh,
at 5 mil views before it
oh
got
fuck,
taken down.
that's insane.
And then the other clone of it, last time I checked, it was at 400,000 views or something.
Hmm.
So like basically my plan for this is to go up to him and be like, "Look, your transgender argument, it's wrong. Fuck your shit." Like literally just walk up there and be like, "Your transgender argument is literally wrong because you take into account that gender and sex are the same thing." And like I don't know of anyone who goes to like those events just to go up and be like, "Hey, you know your opinion is wrong, right?"
Well, yeah, because people want to be respectful, so Ben uses that
Yeah.
to his advantage because he's like,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
right.
well,
Well,
because you can't like hammer him in the head without being disrespectful, right? Because if you go up there,
yeah. Like, and I understand that like me going up there and being like, "You're wrong" is pretty disrespectful, but at
yeah,
the
but
same
fuck
time,
it.
it's pretty disrespectful for him to be speaking, or it's irresponsible for him to be speaking about a subject that he does not know.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and I think we would agree on that just because we're DGG memers, but
Yeah. No,
I
yeah, but
don't
like,
know.
yeah, so like, yeah, I'm 100% like, if you ever get the opportunity to ask Ben another question, yeah, just 100% walk up there and be your stance on the two genders or however you figure out how to word it. Just be like, your stance on gender is totally wrong, and here's why. And then get like try to get a notepad out to just run through it because he's gonna instantly try to fucking pivot right off of it
Yeah,
as
yeah,
fast
yeah.
as
Of
humanly
course.
possible.
Well, here's the thing, right? If he pivots, I could just say, "Why are you pivoting? Why aren't you answering my question?" Um,
And then he usually
like
just kicks you off the
that's the
stage.
thing, right? Is that if someone else is holding the mic, then it would probably be a lot harder to do
Yeah,
that kind of shit. But if I'm holding the mic, I can literally interrupt him and be like, "Hey, why are you pivoting from the point?"
yeah, because
Because
I
really,
remember.
what I'll probably say is like your trans argument is pretty wrong. There are actually genotypes and phenotypes that don't fit together. So, for example, a genetic male can have a phenotypical female trait
Mhm.
set, so they can develop into a like a necessarily a more feminine person, even if they are genetically male. So,
Oh yeah,
like and
well,
also, there's a phenotypical thing with women where they'll be caused to develop testicles and a penis. So, this whole chromosome argument is really fucking stupid because, like,
yeah,
when you measure by genotypes, you're not measuring by phenotypes, and that's what's really descriptive of us. So, really, what I want to ask him is, like, what is a man? Because if you can
yeah.
give me a definition of a man that does not fit any female on the planet Earth,
Then
I will
congratulations.
fuck it.
Yeah,
I will give you the fucking Nobel Peace Prize, my dude.
yeah, because
And he
it's like,
probably won't answer that because he'll
well, he'll have
probably
no
just say,
answer.
"Well, what is a man? Well, didn't you learn that in school?" or like some shit.
Yeah,
And then I can just do the easy like, "Why are you calling to authority?" That's a really fallacious argument. Anyone who goes through any kind of argumentative persuasion like understands that calls to authority are pretty fallacious arguments.
yeah,
Um,
100%. And you can even bring up like the recent example of it's like you can ask him, hey, would you consider? I forget the name of this the female, but I'm pretty sure she's an African American. She's in Africa. She does marathons. Or is she in another country? I'm not sure. Anyways, or is she from Africa? She's been running marathons. Anyways, regardless, she has a extremely high testosterone level, way higher than any average female has like ever tested for. Basically, her testosterone levels. So you just ask him like, do you believe she's a male? She has a higher
yeah, like
testosterone like than some males. Do you believe she's
yeah,
male?
exactly. Like that's the other thing, right? Is that in any kind of description, it'll end up if he actually tries to give a description, it'll end up being like us sitting there for like 2.5 minutes or however long they let us talk, and him floundering for being able to describe a male that is not a female.
Yeah, because he'll if he wants to go like full nuclear, he can go with the what's that guy's name from fucking Duck Dynasty? He was like, you know what's the difference between male and female? This right here, and he grabs his beard. It's like no female can grow this except for like there's an endless number
Well,
of females
that's
that
not
can
even
grow that.
true because
I know
they
it's
have natural facial hair.
yeah, there is facial hair, and some women will grow more than others depending on a fucking bunch of genetic markers. Like this
I
is like
mean,
totally
yeah,
untrue.
it's really stupid. I don't know. Well, being non-binary, it affects me. Like
Yeah.
actively, it affects me. Like in the fucking Destiny server, like randomly people will come into the LGBT channel and they'll be like, "Hey, like, have you heard Ben Shapiro stuff? You're not real people."
I
Like,
know.
I
Oh my
don't
god,
know.
I hate it.
It's
Like
some it's some real bullshit. So if he tries to like go back to, well, how am I even affecting you? Well, I've literally personally run into people with your arguments that are wrong, and you're irresponsibly platforming that. So
yeah. So I was talking to this guy. That's actually funny you bring this up because there's this guy in my chat. I think it was like something Coop or whatever. But he was
Coupe de jour.
no. It's like Tua Coop or something. It's not Coop. It's
Oh,
just something. It was like two words. I think it was like Tua Coop or something Coop or whatever. It's just some random guy. Didn't even have a profile picture or anything like that. And I was talking to him about like why you shouldn't make assumptions of people, like why like don't walk up to somebody because we were having this weird stupid discussion about why it started off basically as why should stores be allowed, like in southern states, be allowed to just deny gay people from buying a cake. And then he brought up so after like a while, like after that stupid discussion, he was like, oh well, all they have to do is just not act gay. I was like, what do you mean by act
what do you
gay?
mean not act gay? They're gonna come in there as a couple. They're gonna be like, "Hey, we want a wedding cake made for us, but it's gonna have two male figures or two female figures on it,
Yeah.
or like some shit like that." Um,
And it's like,
but
yeah,
like
and it
I don't
was
know. The argument for me, I think I might have actually taken the state's side on this one just because it's religious. Well, I
well, it
don't know.
depends because
Actually, I'm
those
getting
are
I'm getting more swayed to the middle because
because those are
religious or religion is like something that you can choose, and
yeah. Well, also
be
think of
and your
this.
sexuality is inalienable,
Yeah, so
and
you could
like
also think
it's
of it
something
as
you can't choose.
so there's that where it's like you can't like choose not to be gay or whatever. There's also it's more effective in like the why these laws exist. So we have protected, or the United States has protected classes for people all over the place. But in the southern states, it's very important because since a majority of people there are religious, that means that a majority of stores can just close their doors to gay people, which would be direct discrimination. So they can't like
Yeah.
the states can't just the specific states whatever that the original meme of the cake not being sold to whatever, they have to like take a hardcore stance on this because if they let one person do it, then that means all stores can do it. That means like out of the 50 stores in their state or whatever, 49 of them might close their doors, and it's like what the fuck?
Yeah, then it's just like, well, you can just go get it somewhere else, forehead.
Yeah, go to another
It's like,
state to get your
oh
cake.
god, the fucking voter ID shit.
Yeah. Oh no, I know the worst
You could
argument
just
ever.
go do it somewhere else, forehead. Yeah, but like, what about ease of access and
Yeah,
like,
I have a bicycle. Do you want me
equality
to
of
fucking?
opportunity and shit?
It's like here's a hypothetical. I have a job that goes from 9 to 5, and the voting booths close at 6 o'clock, and I have a bike, and the nearest voting booth is an hour and a half away. How do I vote?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. People just don't understand that not everyone has the same transportation or the same like amount of time in the day, right? Like when
Well,
you're richer, you can afford to like take time off,
yeah,
or you can even like do it in your free time.
exactly.
Like,
And like
and
and they'll
that's
never.
just not something that poor people do because on average they work like two or three jobs. Like
Yeah,
literally, people aren't poor because they're like culturally poor and living off the welfare state or whatever like kind of memes you're gonna throw up. They're literally poor because they're working to support like shit that they're probably not able to support. I mean, it seems like it'd be really hard. The social movement or like the class movement where you
yeah,
can get out of being poor, or the tier 5 to tier 4 or tier 4 to tier 3, whatever
yeah.
graph that is. Like it's really hard.
Oh yeah, it's in the United States for sure. And like, what's funny too is that you'll press them on these questions. Like, okay, so if you think that, so it's like if you think that poor people could just get up and go places, would you advocate for a massive public transportation system, like a very successful and efficient public transportation system, like in the Green New Deal, and they'll be like, "No, that's socialism." It's like, oh, okay.
I
So
mean, well, we kind of we need uh some kind of public transport though,
yeah, I know, but it's
right?
like so, but they won't agree to because right now in the United States, your public transportation systems in specific states aren't like that great. But if you press them on, so if you press them because it was in the Green New Deal to upgrade the public transportation system, sometimes you'll press some like conservatives on it, and they'll be like, "Oh no, I don't agree with the Green New Deal," and it's like, okay, oh my god, you, you fucking searched for me on League, dog.
How do I search you on League? You literally have it open on your
No, I
stream.
know, but guys, I was like, I had it open on stream, and you're just like, I'm just kidding. I got doxxed. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's like
Because I play League of Legends. We're both streamers. It'd be interesting to play League of Legends sometime, my dude.
it would be for sure. Fuck.
And I
I should
have
say.
like, I don't know, 30 minutes or 30, yeah, 30 minutes before I have to leave.
Oh, nice. Do you want to play League right now, dog?
Ah, shit.
It might go over your time limit depending on how triggered the game is.
That is true. I was gonna say an ARAM, but like even those go over like 20, 30 minutes
Yeah.
sometimes.
So we can just have a chat still, because
Hell yeah.
but yeah, it's like you press them on certain things and they just don't agree to it. So it's like, okay, so if you think that if you want to just have voting booths wherever they are, like the typical gerrymandering laws, okay, like here's some ways we can reduce it. Well, we can make like we can have a massive public transportation system so that people can get pretty much anywhere in the city within less than like 15 minutes, because that's how I think most metros get people places
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
most like urban have like train shit and
Yeah,
they have like good public transportation. Taxi fares are usually substantially lower in those cities.
yeah,
Like there's a whole bunch of different ways to get around.
and it's like,
And even walking is like pretty decent,
yeah,
right? Like you don't have to walk a really far way to get to a job or get to another place.
yeah.
Uh,
So it's like, yeah, it's just weird. Like because here let's pivot back to Ben Boy, since you might be like, do you know if he's gonna be in a university nearby sooner or later, or are
I
you just
don't know
prepping?
because they haven't put up the tour dates for
Oh, okay,
fall semester yet.
okay,
Once I find out fall semester, I'll probably go to the one that's closest to me. Just because I know that like if I do that shit, I'm gonna get some online notoriety. I mean, I
yeah,
already
well,
got
yeah,
some before, but like it got taken down.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, you can get on some top podcast depending on how good your question is, right? Because like that's what happened to Yusuf. I don't think Yusuf did anything with it, but when Yusuf went on Steven Crowder,
yeah,
I think
he got on like a couple podcasts
I mean he
after
went.
that.
Yeah, so sadly he went on the Nick Fuentes one, but I think Destiny tried to contact him. But
Oh, really?
yeah, because I think that Yusuf guy's apparently like decently right wing. I'm not sure exactly his views. I don't think he spoke of them that much. But during the whole debate with Steven Crowder, he was like, "I'm not a socialist and blah blah blah. I'm just like pointing out your
Just pointing out
your shitty
arguments.
arguments."
Yeah.
I was gonna use autistic, but I was like, nah, maybe not, because I was gonna go with the meme that he put up in the video himself.
Fuck yeah. I don't know. That was when Destiny was reviewing that video and he's like, yeah, this guy shouldn't you shouldn't have called this guy autistic.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you fucked yourself, which is true. Like when I was watching it the first time too, I was like, ah, no, this is gonna end this way, isn't it? The conversation's over. I'm sorry. Like Yusuf won, but Steven Crowder is gonna claim victory because of
Because an ad hom. Yep.
yeah, because of some fucking ad hom. Like,
But
alright.
I mean, well, the thing is, I don't know. It'll probably be like, unless I completely like make Ben flounder, the people will probably still clap after all of his answers. And
Yeah,
like
so you gotta like refine a question to be
that's
like a
also something
slammer.
I could use to my advantage, right?
Yeah,
Like, why are you just standing up here in front of an audience that you know is gonna clap behind everything that you say? It seems like you're really not pushing for like talking to both sides or whatever, and it seems like you locked yourself in your hug box with Jordan Peterson and Dave Rubin and
hmm
Joe Rogan. Like it seems like you just lock yourself in this hug box where you talk to people that are on your side, like Blair White, Joe Rogan, I mean Jordan Peterson, like
yeah,
literally people who have admitted that the next thing that they say could be some really stupid thing. Like I forget where Jordan Peterson said, but he said something along the lines of I'm getting to a point now where the next words that come out of my mouth could possibly be stupid. Um, like he literally said that. I'll have to get the voice clip from
Fuck,
someone
that's
else,
hilarious.
but
Yeah, but I would say like leave that till the end because that would be something that Ben would probably pivot onto and completely dip the point of the gender thing. So I think
oh yeah.
it's important for you to like make sure you embarrass him on the gender thing, and then once the crowd starts clapping after you've like fully made your point, then like dive into that if you can, because I'm pretty sure
I mean,
the mic
yeah,
guy will probably rip the mic away.
that's the thing, right? Yeah, they might rip the mic away. They might be like, "Why are you being disrespectful?" I mean, well, in the one that I went to, when I went and asked him a question, they asked me if I was with him or against him, and they were giving people special priority if they were against him. So
Yeah.
like, all I really have to say to them while I'm waiting in line is that like, I'm completely against his transgender argument. I think that it's completely wrong, and I intend to tell him so. And then they'll be like, "Oh, well, that'll make for a good show."
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, of course. Yeah,
Because
so they'll get you to
normally,
the front of
like,
the line.
Ben just embarrasses people on that shit. And I'll be
Yes.
honest, he embarrassed me the first time, so.
Yeah, I know. It's rough. I mean, I don't even know if I could. Like, I feel like because obviously I'm gonna take like the Destiny point of view. I'm sitting behind a screen, right? I have like the internet in front of my eyes, and I'm not talking with a crowd of people. I know that if I was in the same situation you were for the first time, whatever, I'd probably get like fucked. So I'd try to make sure that I have like a notepad out or something to try not to
Yeah,
pivot.
that shit was that shit was real nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. I mean,
but I mean, well, here's the other thing is that I'm probably sort of autistic. Like, that's kind of a self-diagnosis, but my psychiatrist also said that I should probably talk to some people about it.
sure.
So like I don't really have these carings for social boundaries or whatever. I don't really give a shit about the social boundary of like telling people that they're fucked.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. No, I mean, I don't really care either at this point because of so many stupid people I've just talked to in my chat. Like what you say is, I'm like, ah, fuck this. I used to take like pretty recently. I used to take like a position, I guess, of like, oh, I'll try to treat people respectfully or whatever. But that quickly kind of diminishes when people are just so dumb and advocate for like the stupidest possible positions,
yeah,
or even like
it's
underhand violence towards people. It's like, how can I be respectful towards you when you're like
I
dehumanizing
mean,
people
yeah.
or whatever? Like,
Oh yeah, and then what he's probably gonna pivot back onto is like if I went to a dinner with Caitlyn Jenner or whatever, I wouldn't like intentionally misgender. And like the only thing you can say to that is you've already done it on TV
yeah,
live
multiple
before.
times. Yeah.
Like you've literally done it on TV live before. You've tried to do it to Laverne Cox and you failed at it. So I'm not even sure like where that's coming from, right?
Yeah, it's like you're not you haven't shown like respectful behavior in the past because you've done it to multiple people where you purposely misgender them, and then because you're like, I know that this is a person. Oh, you know what's a good question? Fuck. Oh my god, you should do the Destiny meme where you just walk up to Ben. I mean, this might be just for just a different time because I feel like your question's like actually like hard hitting, but just walk up to him and be like, "What's up, Benjamin?" I know your real name
So
is Benjamin.
yeah, Benjamin. Your real name is Benjamin, so I'm gonna call you Benjamin. You're not Ben. Yeah, exactly.
Just
Like
fucking
that
name
that
it.
kind of shit. Well, I mean that could even play into like what I'm doing, right?
What the fuck is
If
that?
he's
Okay, that's not
if
audible.
he's like
Sorry, someone's just drilling into the side of a house next door.
I can barely hear it.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming through on stream either, but goddamn.
But like that's the other thing, right? That like if he pivots onto like that kind of shit, that it would just be so easy for me to say, well, your legal name is Benjamin, so I'm only going to call you Benjamin Shapiro.
Yeah.
Um, like and then like his only response to that is like that's pretty stupid.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or
pretty
he
dumb.
can agree and be like, well, I guess you're right. Um, so basically he loses on either side of that
Yeah.
one.
Well, yeah, it's like you can just hammer them with like easy arguments, like right. So it's like how do you tell if someone's a female other than pointing out like their genitals? It's like the easy one. And
Actually, you can't even tell that someone's female by
no,
pointing
that's what I'm
out.
saying. Like that's what you ask him. Like, how would you tell someone? Like, if you could just look at somebody and say that they're female or male, what markers do you look at that signify that this person's directly a female or not without looking at their genitalia? And you'll have to answer like, oh, well, long hair. And it's like, okay, well now there's
Well, I
dudes who
have
have
long hair,
exactly.
my dude.
It's like, oh yeah, you could just yeah, exactly. If he answers that, you just be like, well, I have long hair. Am I a chick to you? Like what? Like are you?
Oh, that was I got into like an argument with someone who is like religious, and I was like, so what are your view? Or they were like, I think my views on gender are like probably aren't gonna be like all that accepted here, but like I think if you're a boy, you have a peepee, or if you have a peepee, you're a boy. If you have a vagina, you're a girl. I'm like, what about the fucking girls that literally develop testicles from their genetics? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, what about the? I mean, it's sure it's a minority of people, but those still exist. What do you do with what do you
Yeah,
do with those
exactly.
people?
Like,
So it's like,
and here's the other thing is that he could also go on to the tangent that like, well, I don't care about a minority of people.
yeah.
Well, how about this? How about I'm a Nazi and I don't care about your minority Jewish race?
or
I
or
mean,
or
like,
you could just say that, or
really?
you can even just say that you're a Nazi, and because I'm in the minority, you shouldn't be able to do anything to me.
Oh yeah.
And like okay.
Fuck that shit.
Or like, oh, or you can even actually, you can bring it the opposite way, because this will probably get more things. It's like, oh, well, I'm part of Antifa, the evil Antifa that wants to kill you, but I'm in the minority, so you don't have to worry about me.
Yeah.
Or just like bring up some
Like,
like really fucked up shit, but as long as you're in the minority, it's allowed to exist.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know. It's well, I need to pull up the FBI statistics or the graph that he actually uses for the suicide for the trans suicide rates because within that graph, if you literally just go down a little bit, it's like, all right, these people who got bullied in school like committed more suicide. All right,
yeah,
these people who like were misgendered intentionally in public like committed more suicide. There are several studies on that like
100%. Yeah, it's like pretty undeniable, but it's always hard to bring up facts in front of Ben because he's even though he's all about
because
facts over feeling.
he moves the goalposts.
Yeah,
He's like Slippery Nick, but like 2 tiers higher than Slippery Nick. He's
yeah,
like a smart Slippery Nick.
yeah. He's a smart
Like
slippery
I
Nick,
don't have any
100%.
problem admitting that Ben's pretty smart, but
Yeah,
he's
I feel like just don't bring it up. I would say like don't bring it up. Like, yeah, I understand you're like a smart person, because feel like his audience just like runs off of that and will completely
oh
ignore the
yeah,
rest of
the
your talking point.
idolization is
Yeah,
huge.
like, oh my god, he's smart. I don't have to listen to you because Ben Shapiro is smart. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you admitted that Ben's smart, so therefore you're stupid. It's like, okay.
Yes, I have a good. I forgot that I made this. I made a fucking
Meme.
feels Ben man Pepe, but it's
Oh
really
fuck.
bad.
Oh no. Fuck. What was I gonna? What's I gonna say? But I completely forgot it. Fuck me. Oh no, never mind. I forgot that one too. I don't know. Oh, let's see your Pepe. It feels Ben.
All right, I'll post it in the in the general chat.
Yeah. Oh, let me give you actual
Oh,
real
I
rules.
can't even send
Yeah, you can't.
messages.
I know, because I didn't. I know. I'll give you a real rule.
Hell yeah.
You're a real human now. I need to like completely reform my, because there's a lot more people in my Discord now, so I need to like completely reform how this entire thing works.
Feels Ben, man.
Feels Ben, man.
You can kind of see the yarmulke that I tried to draw, but
Oh, that completely failed. Sorry to break it to you. That yarmulke's not a yarmulke.
yeah, it feels bad, man.
Uh,
Maybe I can. Oh, yes, I can extend it a little bit, and then I can do the fill paint option.
yeah, and then just fill it up
That
on
will
top.
work.
Making memes in MS Paint.
Making memes in MS Paint, dude. It's the it's the optimal way to go. Photoshop is for losers.
Fuck that shit. Yeah, who cares about that? I make all of my arguments in MS Paint.
It's actually, well, I don't know. I actually use MS Paint when I'm explaining arguments.
Oh, I've done it multiple
Um,
times when I have to explain not progressive tax, but what the hell is, Jesus Christ. Well, I guess it's a progressive tax rate. But what the hell is the tax rate? Oh my god, marginal taxes. When I have to explain marginal taxes to idiots, I'll just use MS Paint to like be like, look, when you have your $1 million isn't taxed at 70%, it's that $1 at the end that's taxed at 70%. Nothing. The other $1 million is under a bunch of other different tax brackets.
yeah.
And I
I
have to
don't know.
like
I
outline
have
the
to
fuck
use
out.
it a lot when I explain gender and
Yeah.
shit to people. Because, like, well, I think I have a pretty decent graph for that one. It's like a 3D graph, right? If you can imagine it. So on the x-axis, on the y,
I only
or
imagine
on
things
the
in 2D.
x-axis, it's like masculine and feminine on either side,
Yep.
and then on the y-axis, it's like male or female on either side. Um, and then actually what goes through in the middle to make it like a 3D graph is like gender identity or like your identification, self-identification,
Oh sure, yeah.
right? So like you can have any you can be male, but you can have feminine characteristics and you can also identify like somewhere else on the graph.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And
Because
you can
like,
say, I want to have these kind of characteristics, but I know that I don't have all of them, like some shit like that.
yeah, what's up, Dust? I don't know who this guy is, but what's up, Dust Toxic? Dust Code Toxic? I don't know. Yeah, no, like basically so the one thing I always back up on too is whenever people try to make the argument, sometimes people will make the argument that, oh, well, I'm just using hey dude and like hey chick as like gender neutral terms. They don't actually mean anything to me. I always back up to, well, if that's true, then why are we using two words to describe the same exact thing?
I think dude is gender neutral.
Yeah,
But
I would
is
say
it?
like dude is, well, technically it wouldn't be because dude would historically dude would be referred to as like males, so I would see why some people might get like angry at that. So
Sure.
I'll be somewhat cautious of it, but yeah, sure. Like maybe someday dude will become a gender neutral term, but that would require the elimination of like dudette, right? I mean, no one uses dudette, but
Well, I don't know. I heard a nice one in the fucking in a text channel. It's dude, dudette, and non-dudenary.
non non dudinary. Yeah, but like in
Non-dudenary.
a perfect world, because I pretty much hate titles, even though you're forced to use
Yeah,
them.
so do I. I've
Yeah,
been trying to figure out. Apparently, the non-binary one is like MX.
I don't know. I would
Um,
just say that I'm a person. Like whenever I reference myself, I'm like I'm a person. I have these characteristics. Blah blah blah. It would take a while to
yeah,
describe myself, but I would just be like how I act towards people is I just kind of I hopefully reference them as just like people. So if my vocabulary includes dude, hopefully people understand that I'm actually using that as a gender neutral term. Like I'm not trying to be. And if someone has a problem with that, then I'll like look towards like removing it or like not use dude around people who don't like it. But
yeah,
for the most part, my ideals is that everything is just kind of like everything is just kind of gender neutral. I won't automatically assume who the fuck you are until you describe it to me. So I hope that people do the same thing with that. So like if someone's like, "Oh, okay, well, how do you describe yourself?" I'm not gonna pull up some gender fucking thing because I don't really care. I'll just say like, "Oh, well, I mean, I would consider myself pretty masculine. I have these certain characteristics and blah blah blah." And if you want to put the label on that as a specific gender, then go for it. I guess if it makes it easier for you. But to me, I just rather like describe myself through specific characteristics.
yeah, right. And I don't know. The trap that a lot of people fall into is like there are specific characteristics that are masculine or feminine, and
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that like facial hair is probably more masculine, just because more males grow more facial hair.
yeah,
I think that's like generally a pretty masculine thing, but
yeah.
at the same time, like I don't know, you can't say that like long hair or like being stoic even isn't even a man trait. That's more of a Western thing,
Oh yeah,
right?
exactly. Like,
They're in Japanese society, like the women aren't allowed to cry, the women aren't allowed to like show their emotion around people, or it used to be. And like that would actually really fuck with them. Death rates go,
yeah,
or
yeah.
death averages go down, as in like they live for less amounts of time,
Oh, so
because of the stress and
the
like all of that thing.
average lifespan would
Yeah,
go down.
average lifespan goes down
That's fucked.
because of stress and like other like mental
Yeah, so it's not like they're directly committing
health
suicide. It's
things.
just a bunch of other factors that cause people to die sooner in their life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Well, when a human is under more stress, or when an animal is under more stress, usually it ages faster. Like, I don't know, we could look at this with like President Obama even. Like if you
Yeah.
look at him before he went into office, holy shit. Dude looks like he aged like 20 years by the time he came out of 8 years of
Yeah,
office.
well, and you can even just look at like basic because if you're more anxious all the time, your blood pressure will be higher, and higher blood pressure leads to more frequent heart attacks, and then those heart attacks could kill you.
Yeah, I
So
don't know.
so yeah, you definitely age faster like like if you're under more pressure, quote unquote. And then there's a million other things, right? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Ah, shit. We should do. Well, are you into like philosophy stuff?
Uh, I would say my understanding of like I'm into philosophy, but my understanding of it all is pretty weak because I haven't read up on books or anything like that. So
Sure.
I'm more in like the learning phase of philosophy, but I seem to make like all right philosophical arguments, or I have a decent grasp of it, but I'm not like I wouldn't say like oh fuck yeah I'm super into philosophy and I've read all these books because I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in this. Um, I'm like going for a philosophy major, but
Oh cool.
I mean, I literally just started my first philosophy class like this past week.
That's still sick though. That's awesome. Because yeah, I would love to. I don't know if there's any. I'll have to check because I'm my major or whatever is just for like. Well, now I guess it's more of an engineering thing. But anyways, regardless, it's just like in a trade. So I have to see if
Well,
there's
you
any
could
like.
probably count it as like an L, maybe.
Yeah, like there might be some elective course I could take about philosophy. I just have to look into where the fuck they are.
Yeah, they're fun class. I mean, well, I'm assuming they're fun classes
Yeah,
because I enjoy it, but
yeah. Well, I could say the same. Like I had a human rights course, and I would say like, oh, it was a pretty fun class, but that's because I was capable of dunking on like everyone in that class when we had discussions about specific rights. That's why I fucking found it enjoyable.
I
Oh,
mean, that's the same way I was. When I took philosophy in high school, I enjoyed the hell out of it because you could literally never be completely right about anything, and there was just as much evidence as you could back up with, right?
yeah, exactly. My favorite part in my whole like human rights course last semester, or whatever, was at one point we were talking about the death penalty, and I was like, well, there's no evidence that the death penalty is in any way effective whatsoever, because it turns out that most people who want to kill other people don't give a shit if they die. That's why 90% of the time, not 90% of the time, but a high majority of people who like do a terrorist attack or kill multiple people end up just committing suicide in the end of it, because it turns out that they don't actually fear death. So it's not a massive deterrent to people. It turns out that like life imprisonment is more of a deterrent for big criminals, if you want to call that, than uh, than than the death
Like a
penalty
death
is.
penalty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then so we talked
Well,
about
I
other
don't
stuff.
know if I. Well, yeah, if I put myself into like a prisoner's shoes, like, yeah, I'd probably be pretty fucking like. It sounds like my life outside of prison is pretty fucking good compared to like my life inside of prison, even if I'm homeless, right?
Yeah,
Like, there's so much freedom that you get from not being imprisoned that like that will be the only thing that I would fear. Like
exactly.
as a person who could kill another person, right? You basically take into account that you don't really care about the feelings of other people, or you might not care about the feelings of other people, and that will make it a lot easier as well. Like, I don't know. There's a whole lot of shit that like just killing someone will not do.
Yeah,
Whereas if you imprison them the entire time, then like that's they're forced to go into their own mind and deal with the shit that they've done.
yeah.
And then like yeah.
It's like it's a direct attack on like who they are because their freedom is gone and they have a bunch of other shit happening to them because like yeah they'll never care about other people's feelings. So you can't like try to argue from that standpoint. And then so what happened is that after a while we got started talking about like not the ethics. Well, a little bit of the ethics, but also the rehabilitation factor. Because I'm like full rehabilitation. I rather
Oh really?
pretty much
Oh well,
the
I'm
goal
like
of a jail.
close to full rehabilitation. I think that the jail system or the imprisonment system should be for the most part a rehabilitation
Yeah.
thing.
So that's pretty much my stance. I think it might go a little bit further. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't taken on like one of those tests. I remember you posted in the chat like one of those testing. I just
The
haven't. Yeah, the
The
plotossphere or whatever.
politiscales test is okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like I'm for like 100% the goal of a prison system should be to rehabilitate first and punishment like dead last because for me like your freedom being revoked is punishment enough, and you being
Yeah,
in
I
there
think
for the rest of your life without having access to a lot of other things is punishment enough.
yeah, and I generally agree. Like, I don't know, it seems like with the amount of people who literally go back into jail like the week of or like the month of getting released, shit like that. That seems like a really bad problem, and it seems like rehabilitation would actually do something about that as opposed to
Oh, 100%.
just pure punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, because what happens is like if they get pure punishment, they go into the jail cells, and then they won't get rid of their negative tendencies because they have to like survive. So they might actually end up just stabbing more people and killing more people just to survive in the jail cell. Just yeah, just to survive jail. Like they'll do actual more criminal crimes.
Yeah.
And since there's no and since like
Seems pretty
jail life in the United States is so detached from like civilian life, it's nearly impossible for you to expect them to actually return to that life in any because it's so far removed. Like you literally time travel if you're in jail for like more than 10 years. I mean,
I mean, yeah, it's all right. It's getting close to my need to go time. I got a class at 1 p.m.
all right,
or well, 30 minutes from now. So, dude, it was a good talk, my dude.
yeah,
I'll probably if you're still streaming later, I'll probably like come in here and
yeah. I'll be
chill out.
here. I'll be here till I don't know when. At least 8 hours, probably a little bit less than that. Depends on because I have to go get
Oh
my
shit.
sister from her workplace, so I have to leave whenever she tells me to come get her. So that's like
Nice.
the only hiccup. But yeah, I'll be streaming for a while.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, well, if I see you back on, I'll
Yeah, no
talk
problem.
about more stuff.
Sure.
I'll see you, my dude.
All right, see you later, buddy.